Hello, my name is Chris Roberts. I am the Youth and Gang Violence Prevention Coordinator, and these are affirmation stories. Affirmations are a way to bring your purpose into life through spoken word.
How's it going? My name is Douglas Pitzer, founder of Strokes of Genius, LLC.
And I'm Fletcher Nichols, and I am the founder of the Encouragement Group and the author of the Royalty Affirmation.
My name is Antonio Stovall, and I'm a youth and gang violence outreach worker.
I'm so excited to be here today. You know, it's been so much leading up to this. Yeah. But I think it's really important today for y'all to understand as well, why is this so important?
Affirmation stories are incredible. I mean, they've been around since the dawn of time.
Yes.
And it's about taking your words and what's inside of you, your purpose and your passion, and bringing it into a purpose and bringing it to life. Words mean something and words are strong. So if we can build on affirmations to change our core, to change our actions, to guide our life, to guide our community, that's the importance of affirmation.
And I started doing affirmations with my class, being an art teacher for years and African American culture class. And I found that when you bring a group of people together and they learn to affirm themselves, and especially when you do it collectively, then they have an outlook on life that's very different. They get an opportunity on a daily basis or on a weekly basis to say the thing that they want to be able to make that come to life with words. And words are very powerful, and affirmations are powerful.
So when I think about affirmation, I think about training. Me being a martial artist, I try to correlate that to the affirmations, and to me, affirmation is a way to train your brain to think a certain way.
Yeah.
So when I started to do affirmations, I wanted to train my brain to think more positive thoughts, to be more optimistic. So affirmations are a way to train our thought process to be more positive, to have a better outlook on life. And that's when I think about affirmation, I think about affirming our greatness within us and speaking it into existence.
Yeah, and it really works, especially when you're up against something negative. And what I found with my students is they learned early on to use that affirmation when they were in a negative situation.
Correct.
They would pull a sentence out of it, a word out of it, or a paragraph even, and they would recite it in their minds, and it would stop them from going into that negative behavior that they would go into, which is really, really wonderful, because that's a great way for an affirmation to be used on a daily basis.
Correct.
And to give a visual aspect of it, affirmations are like a speeding highway where we have cars just going, and that's the way your brain is working in these intense situations. So the affirmations allow you to be able to focus and to pull out information and have intentional focus in the midst of chaos.
I love that. Well, I more so want to keep these questions going. I love these answers. Today we're here to talk about a specific affirmation that was created for our community. How did you come up with that idea?
Okay, well, I was going through a transition as an educator, trying to figure out how to get my students to synergize, to feel really good about themselves. Many of them were going through some pretty perilous times. And in doing so, I spent time alone and actually trying to figure out who I was. And it began to come to me that the way you feel about yourself is the way people will treat you. And so I started on the road to this affirmation, this royalty affirmation. And it was inspired by a fellow colleague of mine who always said to the students, you are royalty, hold your head up high. Don't look down, look up. Looking up, you can see what's ahead of you. And so the idea of an affirmation was something that was birthed. And it has been revolutionary for many of my students, and I believe it will be revolutionary for the people who choose to put it to memory, not only in their head, but in their hearts.
And Stovall, how did the affirmation help the situations that you've had in your life?
I mean, affirmations to me especially growing up in an environment where you're constantly being exposed to negative things, whether it be certain songs, certain visuals, it starts to program your mind in a way to where now you're starting to think these thoughts, you're starting to see these images in your mind. So with the affirmation, it taught me how to, again, recondition my thought process and how I see myself and how I see the world. And affirmations are something that I try to implement in my life every single day, because every day I want to be affirming who I am and who I'm becoming. Because some days can be stressful, some days can be challenging. So sometimes we need certain words to help boost us up. And affirmations, the I am loyalty affirmations, is definitely one of those, a tool that we can use to empower us.
Absolutely. And Chris, you're the one that put this together. We can't thank you enough. What would you hope is the goal that the community achieves from this affirmation?
We want to do with this affirmation here is continue to build community and culture.
Yes.
Affirmations have been around since the dawn of time. I mean, and people are currently affirming themselves constantly. They affirm themselves of what's ever going on presently in their mind, whatever they're experiencing. But sometimes if you don't have the right tools, the right words, the things to say in your brain, sometimes you're just on this speeding highway to nowhere. And so if we put this affirmation out across our city, it gives us a further reach to be able to synergize with everyone in the city. You have a perspective of empathy, a perspective of caring, a perspective of culture, a perspective of conflict resolution. All these things, I think it's important for us to put this out here. We have to cover our city.
Yes.
And we have to connect with each other.
Yes.
And I think this is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and we have to affirm who we are. And the royalty affirmation actually does that. It collectively says that we are worthy of hope, and we're worthy of love, and we're going forward, and there is a future. And so many young people, or so many people, especially people when we really talk to people who have been involved in violence or who've been victims of it, you find that many of those people just did not have an affirmation, an affirmed belief about who they were. So the voice that they heard in their mind when someone, for example, disrespected them, instead of them saying, wait a minute, I don't have to answer to that name because I already have one. I'm royalty. But instead, they internalize what was said to them, and they say it's disrespect, and then their idea is, well, I need to eliminate that negativity about me, and that's the only way I'll be able to grow and survive. But that's not the problem. The problem is that they have not affirmed themselves, and they don't know who they are.